GNT Show is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. These are the voyages of the GNT Show. Our continuing mission to explore Star Trek storytelling, to seek out new worlds and interesting characters, to Bowega, where no show has gone before. Live long and prosper, bitches.
I have to introduce Janice to Old Bay.
Yum.
Ooh.
Old Bay, now I know you're from Maryland.
Yeah, that's where I live, is Maryland.
All right.
My husband's from Ellicott City.
Oh, that's not far from me at all. That's like 20 minutes down the road. In some Natty Bow.
Are we back?
Thank you, Andrew Wonders. Andrew Wonders says, ooh, Old Bay is amazing. You know what?
Are we back yet on the stream?
We are good.
Yes, we are.
Wonderful.
Yay.
Greetings, top of the hour, 7 p.m.
Greetings.
East Coast.
We are 7 hours into our 25-hour excursion.
We haven't.
And I'm going to
No one
kill
has
Mike for
died
having
yet.
this idea of doing this.
Who won the latest time slots that get to be on with you after you've been up for that long?
Well,
As far
James
as
and Kipley are joining us at 3 a.m. If you take into consideration daylight savings, it's 4 a.m.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
Pacific, right?
Pacific.
They're
It'll be
So
fun.
7 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's 11 a.m. p.m. for me.
Nobody cares
And,
about you.
and they're at Comic Kazi this weekend. That's pretty much the big
That
thing,
is
right?
so awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, my friend,
Janice says she cares about Steve.
My friend Jenna
Thank
Bush
you,
does
Janice.
coffee. She does
Yes.
like coffee with Steve or cocktails with Steve, I think.
Yep.
And she's doing 9 panels this weekend.
Oh my God.
Way to go,
God.
Jenna. I know you're not listening, but I think you're a badass.
She is a badass. I love her.
Right
so.
on.
Some of my favorite cosplayers are at that
At Comic Kazi?
con. Yeah.
Yeah, big one. And it's getting
I don't
more
think I
and more
realized how
popular,
big it
which is
was.
really nice. Yeah.
It's really grown.
Yeah. I mean,
Especially
every
after
con
that
has
show,
grown.
The one where the winner got to work for them.
Yeah, I remember.
Yahoo! Okay. Well, we have the lovely Charity Wood,
Yes.
who has joined us from Bye Bye Robot, as well as one of the wonderful artists from Bye Bye Robot, Drew Riley. Hi, Drew.
Hello.
We got to meet in Las Vegas, correct? You were there?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to say you were one of the artists I got to meet in Las Vegas, ever so briefly, but
We were so busy this year.
I know it was crazy. And you guys had a new spot this year.
You guys had a bitchin' spot.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah,
that's
we really
good.
liked that one.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. We were a little worried because
It was so new, we weren't sure what to expect. Yeah.
right. But they were right next to Creation's kind of merchandise booth, which was
Yeah, you guys had a great booth. We stopped
nice.
by.
Thank
We made
you.
some purchases. Kind
They
of
have-
decorate the walls.
We had vacuuming.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's somebody's
Housekeeping.
Yeah.
Housekeeping.
Is it housekeeping,
Housekeeping?
Mike? Really?
Not here, no, but
Okay. It sounds like somebody's computer fan fired up.
Yeah, we had a good spot next to the. Who was that fundraiser that was next to us, Terry? That was so much fun.
Oh, Omni. What's their the group that does the amazing fundraisers for the new Star Trek or all the movies?
I can't do anything about that.
Omaze.
Omaze.
Yeah, Omaze was next to us this year. They were very, very fun. And then of course, unfortunately, what's his face backed out of the entire show. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was kind of a sucky thing, but whatever. But no, it's nice to see and nice to talk to you, Charity. Again, you and I haven't really had a chance to speak for a couple of years at length The last time we really did, I got to interview you at the convention when I think it was Bye Bye Robot's first real.
We want to thank Jara and Amy for joining us.
Oh, are you guys leaving?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna head out in a couple minutes.
Gotta go get dinner.
Okay.
But
Thank
Jared,
you so much.
Thank you guys
And the ladies
so
from
much.
Women at Warp, thank you so much for joining us.
and we'll be tuning back in, so we'll be listening.
You can jump back in the chat room at any time.
Anytime.
Seriously.
Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah, I'll let you know. And thank you so much for having us. Really appreciate it.
Oh, our
Thank
pleasure.
you.
And Charity, you'll have to carry the Janeway banner for us while we're not here.
Definitely.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much again.
Bye.
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 Yeah.
All right. But and like I said, it's been a long time since you and I have had a chance to kind of sit down and talk. But since then, Bye Bye Robot has kind of expanded. A lot of the art that you have you've put so much more into your inventory and so much more for people to choose from that I want to say thank you for bringing Drew with you to talk about what it is that Bye Bye Robot offers for the Star Trek fan, and also kind of like the process of how you produce these beautiful posters.
Oh wow, thanks. Guy, I don't know where to begin.
Okay,
we're just a bunch of artists.
How the heck did you get the idea to think, okay, this is a market that hasn't really been touched yet?
Oh, okay. Well, my first convention of any kind was the Las Vegas Star Trek convention, and a few years back, well, probably, 5 or 6 years back now, and Chris and I were walking around. Chris is my husband, for anybody who doesn't know that, and looking around at everything, and I'm an artist, and I was like, wow, it'd be really cool if I saw some artwork here that I'd really like to buy, and I saw a lot of really cool stuff, but I just didn't see anything maybe in a style that I, wanted, or there was a lot of stuff I thought maybe wasn't represented. And being an artist, I was sort of naive and not too learned in business, and I was like, hey, maybe I can do some stuff. And so I just tried it, and I approached CBS and said, hey, there's this bit that, this whole market that we thought maybe isn't being represented for fans that might like some, fine art type art, stuff. A lot of our art is representational, either impressionist style or other, and it can be like, if you're not maybe a sci-fi fan, you wouldn't necessarily know right away it's Star Trek. And a lot of I've run into the situation where a lot of people are married to people who maybe aren't fans or aren't the biggest fans, and so they're like, well, I don't want something super blatant on the wall, but this piece is okay because I can't really tell what's going on. And so since we didn't see that being represented, we're like, hey, let's do that. And again, just if I had known all the stuff that went into it, I think I would have been way too intimidated, but I was just too naive to know all the hard work that was in front of me, and so I just jumped right in and just sort of did everything a little bit at a time and plugged away and got it done. It was super weird and super awesome at the same time, and I look back on it going, oh my gosh, I don't even know how some of that stuff happened. So it's pretty amazing. It's a lot of fun, and
I have
along
purchased
the way,
3 different things from you.
Oh,
Many
no
as
kidding.
well. No,
Oh,
it's
that's
very
great.
true. And a lot of it is because of that very reason you were talking about, is that while I am both my husband and I are big Star Trek fans, we're also not quite to that point where we want something so obvious throughout the rest of our house. I mean, our offices are one thing. Offices are kind of like our ability to promote that personal expression. So I've got the action figures and the ships and everything in there. But when it comes to the art on the rest of our house, it was important for me not to make it so obvious to the people who come into my home and say, oh, gee, it's all Star Trek stuff. I love the fact that some of these pieces that your artists have produced have been subtle but not so subtle. If you're a Star Trek fan, you would totally understand what these are. But at the same time, especially the impressionistic ships, that I love so very,
Yes.
very much.
The Romulan one. Oh,
They're all the
I have,
Voyager one I just bought is incredible.
I have a Klingon bird of prey that I absolutely adore, and I am not giving that one up.
I think another part of it too is that like we put up merchandise and posters in our house as like a show of pride, and there's so much more pride when something's artistic and has a lot of emotion behind it, rather than like something that could be just a printout of like a schematic.
I couldn't agree with you more. Again, to be able to say that there is something deeper in the expression of that fandom, and that your art and the art that Bye Bye Robot produces actually touches that depth is pretty remarkable. Not to say that there isn't some really fun overt stuff, and that's the other thing, is even the really fun overt stuff that you have is more apt to be placed on the wall to somebody's living room because they're so freaking cool. And those tourist posters that you have are so awesome, like the join the Starfleet, the recruitment poster that you have.
Yeah, those are really cool. Those WPA style ones, those are great.
So fun. And but those are things that are art worthy, frame worthy, place in the middle of your living room or dining room. Even it doesn't matter. These are really cool things. Not unlike they're very reminiscent to me as being a Disney fan. They're very reminiscent of those old attraction posters that they had, right? Those the flight of the Peter Pan's flight or the Adventures of Peter Pan plus the monorail plus they're very reminiscent of that old style, and I love them so very much. And to see that kind of translated into the Star Trek realm, it just meant the world to me. So I bought all those.
Now, have you seen the propaganda posters in Star Trek Online?
No, we haven't. I think you'd
enjoy them.
Thomas.
Thomas, didn't you create some of those?
I made a lot of them. I made like 10 of them or something, yeah.
Yeah, don't you know Bye Bye Robot's work, right, Thomas?
Yeah, I'm looking at their website right now.
Yeah, I think you would agree that they totally would enjoy it.
Sure, I mean,
what's funny about the... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, it's really specific to events in the game. It's not something that, like, somebody who doesn't play STO will get what's going on. But yeah. So what were you going to say?
Oh, well, I was just going to say that, we started off with the very expressionistic style, impressionistic style, and noticed that a lot of people, because a lot of fans are very technical, and we noticed that maybe they were being a little bit underrepresented. So it was really cool when we were able to get those kind of WPA style ones, or the kind that Kevin does. He recently did a Voyager for us that is very technical and right on spec and everything. And so we felt like it was cool to bring in some of the technical also, because I think a lot of those fans were like, "Where's our stuff?" So we kind of did a little of both. Yeah.
I actually wanted to ask you guys. I don't know how. I got the impression, and I don't know, I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but I got the impression that you're a pretty small group, and and I'm just curious how you approached giants like Disney and CBS, in terms of just pitching the idea of like genre
hold on
fine
a second.
art.
Kevin?
Yes.
Kevin, sweetheart, we need you to mute your mic.
Or change the push to talk.
Thank you. If you go to push to talk, that would be awesome.
If you go to settings, options, and then on the capture, you can set the push to talk option, and then you'll just press a button whenever you want to speak. That way we're not getting all the background noise that's going on. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so, but Thomas was asking Charity about how she approaches it from that kind of CBS thing. Thomas, just so you know, I believe, Charity, you have a license.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
I wanted to actually ask how that got started, like how they CBS in the first place.
Yeah, sure. That got started because, again, I was totally naive. And I was so like, wow, this sounds fun. I'm an artist. I like to paint. Hey, let's go for it. And I just, sort of walked right in, and it was like, hey guys, how about this? And totally
Would you agree,
learned
though?
on the go. Yeah.
Would you agree that sometimes being naive is better, because you do things that you would, if you knew what was involved, you wouldn't necessarily take the step?
That is exactly how I feel. That's exactly what happened with me. Yeah, if I had known what was in store for me, with all of the legal stuff and all of the paperwork and all of the negotiating and things like that, I would have been so intimidated, I wouldn't have even tried. So it worked out in my favor, for sure.
Not to distract too much on the other universe, but these Star Wars prints are really great too.
Oh, thank you. So
the what?
The Star Wars.
What is that?
We did.
Is that another IP?
Touche.
Yeah, we got to work with Acme Archives, and they own the license for Star Wars. And as I understand it, I think they might be the only ones that have a license for Star Wars artwork, at least, new that kind of Star Wars artwork. So it's not, we don't have a license for that, but we did work through them. I got to participate in one of their releases, and I was one of the artists. I did a Millennium Falcon.
Cool.
Titled "She's No Bucket of Bolts," and so that one is mine. And since I was part of that release and that special limited time event, we got to carry some of those. Also, we had the option to bring on some of the merchandise, and then we got to sell that. So it's super cool. I loved being a part of that. Really hoping we can continue that, because I love both of the universes there, and would love to do some more Star Wars stuff too. Even though it may be a bad word, right? So.
No, not at all.
Not a bad word. We're just.
I'm not gonna lie. I had goosebumps when that third trailer came.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh,
and I fucking hope J.J. Abrams gets boiled in oil, because he fucking is a dick.
How do you really feel there, Nick?
Well, the whole using Star Trek as the audition just pisses me off.
And that's what it was, Con. We all do. And the fact is he made it work, and that just makes us jealous.
And I hate him more for that.
Damn bastard. He did what we all wanted to do.
Here's my feeling on it, and I don't want to. We can go down this rabbit hole. I don't think that's necessarily fair to Bye Bye Robot, but I don't think J.J. Abrams set out to make a bad movie, and he didn't make a bad movie, right? He did his job, and he did it.
He made a great Star Wars film.
Yeah, sure. But I guess what I'm saying is, it's not, he didn't go in there with, he wasn't rubbing his hands together oh, I can't wait to piss all these Star Trek fans off. we can be mad at him for not caring about how we felt about it.
Exactly.
I don't know.
And that's what it was.
Yeah, but
well, I'm actually a huge JJ supporter. I know that's also a dirty word in here sometimes, but I grew up loving Star Trek, and I'm younger, and I don't really have or didn't have very many peers who were Star Trek enthusiasts. So for the fact that now my peers know and care about Star Trek, no matter how that happened, that's a big deal.
Now, Drew, this show has always said we may not like the movies, but we love that he has drawn a whole new generation into Trek. We've always said that.
Yes.
We do not find any fault with him as far as that goes.
I will always remember back. This was before the JJ movie came out, but it was there was a buzz about it and everything, and I was sitting in my apartment, and I get a text from this girl that I was kind of seeing at the time, and she's like, "Hey, my roommates and I were talking about Star Trek. Do you have some of the original show? We want to find out about it before the new movie comes out." And these are early 20s, college age sorority girls, and I'm like,
right on.
Thank you, J.J. Abrams. So I brought the original, and then they were just asking me all sorts of questions while they were watching it about the show, and I was like, this is a weird parallel dimension that I've stumbled into. I mean,
I've seen that as well.
Yeah, it's and it, and I think actually these movies have kind of helped accelerate or steer geekdom into its kind of, now it's, at the pinnacle of pop culture is all this geek stuff, and I think that JJ movies were an important part of that.
Now, Thomas, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Your Defend the Legacy poster that I saw in DeviantArt, is that for sale?
The Romulan one? I just download it and make a print if you want. I think I uploaded them I can't sell them because I don't own them.
Right.
But if you click download there, that's actually a high enough resolution. You could just take it to Kinko's and get them to print it.
Okay.
Look, you made the man happy.
I do have a version in English too, if you would rather be in English instead of a fake Romulan font.
No, I want it in Rihanna.
So
How dare you? How dare
my
you?
question to Drew is, okay, first and foremost, for those who might be roaming around right now on the Bye Bye Robot site, can you kind of express to them what pieces you are involved with, and then a little bit about how you go about the process of creating these prints?
Yeah, you were talking to me, correct? I lost my internet for a second.
No, you're good, Drew.
Okay. So I'm responsible for Warped, which is the Enterprise from the Next Generation, flying at warp speed with a very big paint splatter starburst behind it. I'm also the artist of Borg Cube, which is the 3 Borg cubes. Thank you. And
I have that one.
Yeah.
Oh, yay!
Beautiful. Yeah, it's very cool.
And then I also did the landing party one where them beaming down is actually paint splatters. And the final one I did was the one y'all were talking about earlier, which is the scene from Wrath of Khan, Spock's death scene in the radiation chamber.
Beautiful work.
Now, who did the motion picture one?
Is that the movie poster motion picture one? That was hold on just a second. If I'm looking at the right
The one was Ilea.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Ferguson.
Yeah, that's Matt
Let me say this. That's what the movie poster should have been in 79.
Isn't that great? I love this one.
The way that the Enterprise is the gem in the neck, but the way she is, because in 79 when you had the rainbow thing, but this, that one I absolutely adore. And it partially is because I've always been extremely, I don't want to say protective, but Persis Khambatta has always held a special place because she died so young. And she was such a great character, Ilea. So, but this poster is just knocks it out of the park.
This is one of my favorites of his, actually. I love the layout and the gem in the neck. That is such a really genius way to use the ship. Yeah.
That one and the Star Trek 6 one I absolutely adore.
Yeah, totally.
I want to gush over LLAP though, because that's amazing. And it, I was a graphic design major in college, and so of course I had art history classes, and I love when we take these pop culture things and then reframe them into these mythic, fine art kind of lenses, which is what this painting makes me. I don't know if that was your intention, but it really makes me think I'm looking at something, on the wall of the Vatican or something like that, the Star Trek Vatican. But I don't know if you guys have seen, not to distract too much, but it reminded me of the Death of Jennifer Sisko by Brandon Bird, which does the exact same thing. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I haven't, but I have to look it up now.
I'm going to totally
I'll
Google
paste
that
the link. I just pasted a link in the chat there.
Sweet. Cool.
And this one's a lot more Renaissance, literally Renaissance, where you see angels and baby Jake. And
wow.
but LLAP made me think of that in a sincere way. It's it's just taking this moment and.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, that's awesome.
And what I like about it is that it makes it seem that much more real, right?
Yeah.
To the viewer, or to the fan or the viewer.
Right. When you do it something like it feels less like it's not fan art anymore. It's like a historical.
Right.
Right. It's like the signing of Declaration of Independence or something like. This is an event that happened, and we've captured it in art forever. So I just want to really
almost a reframing because you get so used to the feeling you had when you saw that movie. We've seen those scenes so many times that when you see it in a new light, you actually get to relive it like you did the first time because it like pulls you out, puts you at a new angle, and goes, "Whoa, that really did mean something to me." Now I remember that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people got upset with Into Darkness because it took such an iconic moment and bastardized it.
I was on board until what took me out of that was when Spock screamed. I was actually really surprised at how affected I was by what was happening, and then they took it too far. But anyway, I mean, the LLAP I really like because exactly what you said, Drew. And you painted it right, so you knew what you were doing, but. It's funny because you forget the camera work is so intimate that you forget that there are like 30 other people in that room.
Yeah, because when Kirk comes down the ladder, you see everybody standing around looking.
And what's funny is when I was painting that, I had wanted to do this piece for a while. Basically, the moment that there was the news about Leonard Nimoy's death, I thought, hey, I have a job as an officially licensed Star Trek illustrator. This means so much to me. I should be doing something to kind of not only memorialize it for everybody else, but also for myself. But I kept reframing it in my mind and couldn't quite find the right feeling. And it was actually adding the idea of the whole engine room coming to a stop that like really got me excited. And it was when I was going back through and looking for material that I saw that you really do see that as they go through the engine room before you get to that scene. And I thought that was cool that evidently the directors had the same idea of that same type of feeling. And it was almost like an independent, like-minded thought kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. I think it works really, really well.
Just to clarify, the LLP print that we're discussing is the same one we're giving away. So
nice.
That kind of gives people an idea of what they're going to be getting if they donate to our cause during this hour.
Well, so in that case, to incentivize this donation, I'll get a little extra sappy. I left this out, but my big symbolism for the reason I like having all of that engine room watching on is I felt like I was one of the engineers. Like in that middle of the scene, the way they shoot it in the movie, that's where the action happens, but that's not where I am. I didn't know Leonard Nimoy personally, so when I heard the news about his death, I felt this eerie silence of being affected and watching on, but not really being able to go into the middle and really feel in the spotlight. It's this weird, eerie feeling of like, but you're not affected. You feel, but you can't do anything. And so if you look at that scene, I feel like all of the Star Trek fans are the engineers.
Well said.
Yes. Yeah, beautiful. I want to talk a little bit too. I'm going to unmute one so we can. Is Kevin, your work that's featured at least on the site is a beautiful. One of our favorite ships, at least in Star Trek Online. I love the Intrepid, but it's the Voyager is a beautiful rendition of the Voyager. It's also a little bit different from other things that we've seen from Bye Bye Robot in the fact that it is more of a realistic piece as opposed to the impressionistic things I've seen before. Is this the first time you've done a Star Trek ship?
No, it's not the first time I've done one, but it's the first time I've done one in this kind of detail.
It's a gorgeous piece. I'm going to place a copy of the link into our chat room here real quick. A beautiful piece of the ship in motion.
Well, thank you.
Was this just airbrush, or what media did you use?
That's done entirely in digital airbrush.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That is very beautiful.
It's a really, really pretty ship, and I just bought the more impressionistic version of the one that kind of just gives you the front view. I know Charity knows what I'm talking about. I'm not.
I worked in airbrush for several years. Probably over 20, and just eventually got tired of the fumes and cleanup and that sort of thing that's involved with airbrush. And one day someone came up with a copy of Photoshop and said, come over here and try this. And within 3 days, I'd taught myself how to use it, and I was giving away my paints and my airbrush supplies the next week. And I said, this is the way to go from here on out. So yeah, that poster is entirely digital.
Awesome.
It's a gorgeous piece. It really is a beautiful, beautiful piece. And anybody who is a ship collector, and we know in Star Trek fandom there's a lot of us, it's definitely worthy of any collection that you've got, especially Intrepids. But boy, she is shiny. A pretty, pretty ship. And I especially love the detail on the front sensors. I think that's just something I don't really think I've ever noticed before, but it doesn't surprise me just because I've never seen. This is really pretty. I love this piece. Now, is this the first and only piece that you have with Bye Bye Robot?
I'm sorry, you cut out on the end of that sentence?
I apologize. Is this the only piece you currently have with Bye Bye Robot?
Yes, I believe it is.
Okay. It's very, very pretty. We've placed the link for it in our chat room, and as well will be a part of what will probably be extensive show notes as we release this 24-hour show.
We have been tweeted to the interwebs too.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. And Janet has tweeted the heck out of it as well.
Oh, you're welcome.
But it's a gorgeous, for an 18 by 24 print, it's only $25, and it's a beautiful piece. And Kevin, I'm really shocked. I'm like, I've never seen this. Why didn't I see this before, Charity?
I don't know. We had so much this time. The booth was twice as big as we were used to in Vegas, and so we had a lot of stuff out. I was really hoping to, I didn't want anything to get sort of lost in the massiveness of the booth. But so we're hoping
this year.
Yeah, we did. A couple of the pieces that we don't usually sell a ton of. One of them being mine. One is the core.
Yes.
For some reason, just got a ton of sales, and so and I think we tried a few different things this time with the inventory we brought, and it being a different location on the floor. It was just it was just like a whole new show. So we'll just sort of try and make sure we account for all of that next year, especially since it's next year, right? It's the big one.
It's the big one. It's really, no kidding, Kevin. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be very, very crazy. But once again, I mean, the reason why we wanted you to join us this for our 24-hour show was just because we love everything that all of your artists do.
Thank you.
Oh no, I'm just Charity. It's been such a blast to see again a wonderful new company kind of grow alongside of us, and it's just been a blast to see how that your business model is working and it's working well, and that I'm glad to see you're getting the support, and that's really what matters the most to us is to see that your artists are getting the exposure. Anything we can do to help any of you out, you just let us know.
Thank you so much.
It's just a blast, and I love having. I can't wait to get most. The only reason why most of some of your stuff isn't hanging on our wall is just because we have to frame it. And I've been a lazy girl. Ooh, that's cool too. Where'd this come from? That's a new piece. Holy crap! There's an NX-01. What the heck? I did not see this before.
Are you?
I think we got to buy more now. So awesome. So awesome.
To the Bye Bye Robot people, are you guys on Twitter? Do you have Twitter?
We are. It should be at Bye Bye Robot. So.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, I'm gonna real quick. Kevin, I love you, but I'm gonna mute you real quick.
Okay.
It's Bye Bye Robot, correct? At Twitter.
Yes.
At Bye Bye Robot.
At Bye Bye Robot.
And your website is
ByeByeRobot.com.
.com. Awesome. Charity, I don't not like him. I love Kevin. And Drew and Kevin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Your work is so gorgeous. Thank you so much.
It's beautiful, beautiful work. And again, we wish you all the very, very best and the most success possible.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. I've been trying to get you into an interview for quite a while, and I'm
Yes.
finally glad you've been able to finally make it happen. So
Well,
thank you.
thanks
It's
so
been a
much.
pleasure.
We really appreciate it.
Oh, cool. All right. I think that's good.
So how
for
we
right
doing,
now. How are we doing? Yeah. Can we get a tally or a total?
Or do we want to wait 20 minutes?
Oh, we should wait 20 minutes.
Okay.
We really should, because this hour, if you still want to make a donation, you will still get a beautiful print of LLAP from Bye Bye Robot, as well as a copy of what are we doing this with? This is the no, it's the autobiography.
The autobiography. Yes. And so far we've gotten 2 donations so far.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, nice.
So we may decide to split the difference. I don't know. We'll see. But so we have 2 potential prizes, and so far 2 donations.
Nice. Again, thank you, Charity. And
yes.
We appreciate you coming on board. You're welcome
So
to stay.
great to
You're
finally have
welcome.
you
Thank
on.
you so much.
Thank you.
And I think we're going to. I think you know what. You know what we need to do? We need to tug on Alan's chain here. Do you have? It's too much. Too much. Do you have one of your lucky little breakdowns?
I do. If you want to talk about that now, what series would you like to discuss?
I'll let Mike pick.
Spin the big wheel.
Well, I just finished watching DS9, so let's start there.
Okay. Well, let me tell you what we've done. As many of you probably know, we did a survey over the last month and a half. I guess it's really been more like 2 months. Of asking our viewers and listeners, I guess not viewers, but listeners, to rate the episodes. Give them a little grade, and then we would see how it kind of fell out and see if we could come up with kind of a listing of what were the more popular ones or the least popular ones. So I've got a list by series. I've also got an overall one, which I'm going to kind of leave out for now. I want to talk series by series. And I've got 2 different lists. I've got the top 10 rated episodes. I also have the bottom 10 rated episodes. So you were saying you wanted to start with DS9? Was that correct?
I think we should go chronologically. So Enterprise, then TOS, then that way.
Ooh, there's
that sounds good. Well, let's start with Enterprise. One second.
Do we want to go bottom rated or top rated?
Do you want to hear the 10 most popular or the 10 least popular?
I bet I can guess the one that is the absolute least popular.
I bet you're right, too.
Well, you know what? Before we go there, let me ask each of you to tell me what is your favorite Enterprise episode?
My favorite Enterprise?
Yes.
Ooh,
Not very easy, is it?
They have a lot of good ones.
They had a lot of great ones. They really did.
Let's see.
Oh boy.
And they're good for different reasons.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, I like this one because of this, but then it's like that I'm also doing a disservice because I like that one because of that. And it's like,
Like, I like Minefield a lot, but I also like the very second episode where they find the ship with all... It's almost like a Halloween story.
Oh, yeah, with the bodies.
With the bodies, and Hoshi freaks out.
Which makes such perfect sense to me because I think most of us going into space and seeing that would have screamed. I like those. I like Harbinger because I really like Hayes. Although I know that the episode in other ways is kind of a mess. I think the one I like probably maybe the most is E2. That one is up there. You know, my top 5 sort of rotate, and those are a couple of them. Yeah, so I like things like that, and you know, I like oh God, what's the one where they're trying to get to know Malcolm? Because it's
Pineapple Cake.
Yeah, it seems dumb, but the bottom line is the guy is so locked off from everybody, and he's so estranged from his own family that they don't know what he even likes to eat, and that's such a basic thing about human beings, that he is so shut off from the rest of the universe, and that just told me that told me more about that character than anything else.
Yep, it's true. He ended up being an extremely fascinating character for me as a viewer, just because of that. He was such and oddly enough, kind of relatable because of that. Here's a guy who's experiencing something that most other humans have, and that is, division within his own family, division within his own life, has already overcome things, and yet has spectacularly overachieved in others. I mean, he's just a cool dude.
And to add to that, the Shuttlepod 1 episode really reinforces that, because he's saying goodbye in these generic letters to these women who are essentially faceless.
Yeah.
And that blew my mind, that here was somebody he was ticking off boxes. I'm sure that he was going through his little list in his head and saying, Rochelle had the eyes, and this one had that, and and that's what I say about this one. This is what I say about that one. It is all mechanical to him.
Yeah. Oh God, I love Alicia Vixen. Now you understand why it's like I did TNG fanfic and I did Enterprise fanfic because of this reason.
Sure.
And that's
I love
we know each
Shuttlepod
other.
1 too. It was the 25th most popular in the survey.
Which one was?
Shuttlepod 1.
Wow, that surprises me.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised too.
In the Enterprise survey, not overall, right?
In the Enterprise version. Now, there were 97 episodes, and I was going to start doing a countdown here of the top 10. So you ready?
Sure. Right. And some of them, we may need a little reminder of what the episode was.
Correct, yeah. If we need to, I've got Memory Alpha booted up here, so we can look at that. So, number 10 was In a Mirror Darkly, Part 2.
Okay.
Empress
no problem.
Yeah.
A little surprised it's so low, actually.
Well, number 10 out of 97, so.
Still really well.
Number 9 was The Expanse.
Okay.
So I believe that's one of the first times where we really go into the Xindi arc, isn't it?
Yes. And it also kind of gives you this feeling that they may be going where they cannot come back.
Thomas, you were going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say, I think In a Mirror Darkly gets docked points because it's so late in the series run of Enterprise that I think people, and I kind of look at it like, I think it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. I kind of wish they had spent that time with the real characters because, it's like the second to last set of episodes or something. So I could see why it gets treated unfairly because on its own merits, it is a really good set of episodes.
Yeah.
So number 8, Twilight. I have to admit, I don't recall this one.
Okay, T'Pol with long hair. Let's start with that.
Oh, yeah. There you go. That's all you have to say.
All right.
That's the Memento episode, Alan.
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
T'Pol with long hair makes it number 1.
Elf T'Pol.
I thought it was a great. Now that I remember it, I don't remember the title, but now I remember. Yeah, that's the one where he doesn't have his memory, and it's many years later, and T'Pol is actually his caregiver.
Yeah.
And she refused to aside.
And he has a really good question for her too, where he's kind of unsure of how to ask her this, and he kind of says, "Do we mean more to each other than just coworkers?" And it's obvious that at least on her side, it's got to be that. I mean, why would she spend so much of her life caring for him that closely?
There's a bit of guilt there, but at the same time, you could tell that there is affection, there is love, although she'll be the first to deny it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, number 7 Damage.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's the one I believe where they are involved in the Xindi battle.
Yeah.
They have to get back to Earth,
and it has real consequences. What's happening has real consequences on the ship, which is what we were talking about with Voyager, with Jarrah and Amy.
I remember watching
because the ship is damaged, I believe, and they need to get back, and then they get help from another race.
Yeah,
and that they quite honestly screw over.
Yeah.
Well, if it's either this one or it's the one right before it, where I remember turning to my husband because we were watching this first run and saying to him, "Holy shit! I can't believe they did this." Because what happened was 3 or 4 bodies flew out, and that scared the hell out of me more than anything I've ever seen on any Trek episode ever. Because that was, my God, there's a real consequence.
There was
really
a real
happen,
death.
People.
Yeah.
Real deaths that could never be put back. No reset button on those.
Well, I remember when I first saw it too. I was taken back because again they stranded these people. I think I would have liked to have seen a subsequent episode where maybe they tried to go back and help them, or and then see what the consequences are from that.
I'm wondering whether or not Star Trek Online is going to deal with this. But we'll talk later.
All right, Enterprise number 6, United.
That's one of the last ones.
UFP,
4th season.
Yes.
Is that the?
That's the.
Is that the one right before the Mirror Darkly?
No,
okay,
those are Demons in Terra Prime. So this is like before.
Okay,
This may be the one. I'm not sure, but it may be the one where Saval sacrifices his life to save. What's his face? The Admiral. No, it's the other way.
Forrest.
The Forrest sacrifices himself to save Saval. I think that's the one it is.
No, Saval sacrifices him. I mean, Forrest. Yeah, sacrifices.
Yeah, it's Forrest who dies.
Yeah, man, the 4th season of Enterprise is just so strong. Like it's just a lot of really good stuff.
If you hear a sudden loud scream, it's because somebody's going to get punched in the head for having a camera 2 inches from my face taking blinding photos as we're talking.
Well, you brought up a good point about the later episodes, because of the top 10, all 10 are seasons 3 or 4.
Oh, wow.
And,
that doesn't surprise me, though.
No, it doesn't surprise me either. Well, number 5 is Awakening.
Vulcan Arc.
That's the beginning of the Vulcan Arc, yes.
Look at Janet, right on that. Vulcan Arc!
Actually, I believe it's actually the middle of
Jeopardy.
Of the Vulcan Arc, because there's 3 episodes in there. Right. I think it's the middle one.
Yeah, because the Forge...
And Kirshara,
and, yeah.
Right. Number 4, Azadi Prime.
Okay.
It's Xindi Arc. Yes.
And that's definitely right there in the middle of the Xindi Arc again. And then I was kind of surprised about this one because it's personally this one's not one of my favorites, but number 3 is Terra Prime.
I like Terra Prime.
See, now I love Terra Prime.
Yeah, I like that too.
To me, it was one of those episodes that I had always thought
should be happening,
right? It's that whole, let's talk about what's really happening on Earth. How does the Federation come about? How does it overcome its own fear? How does humanity overcome its own fear? And it's the first real episode that deals with that kind of fear that that really probably would exist, and that is, anti-alien, whatever. Oh, was that a big from the baby girl?
Oh, by the way,
Prime
United.
is like,
Sorry. Please go ahead.
It's just one of those things where it's you get a glimpse of what could have happened if Enterprise had kind of worked harder on its premise from the beginning. Like, I feel like if Terra Prime had been, if season 1 had more of stuff like Terra Prime, and I think Enterprise would have been more readily, widely accepted by Star Trek fans. It's like, oh, okay, this is actually a prequel to the original series, and we are going to see how you got there from here, So,
because we all would have seen what would have been a happy ending, right? We would have known that. So what? We knew the outcome. The outcome is the Federation. It's okay to show the pain to get there.
Yeah.
Because we needed to see, and I still believe that that's something we do need to see. We need to see that, we need to see the hope.
Yeah.
We do. We need to see the hope.
Well, and I think it was also good in the fact that it showed the process, like you were saying, like getting into the xenophobia on Earth. That's something we've never really ever seen before in any of the series.
And this is the way a lot of people act. United episode, by the way, I just looked this up on Memory Alpha. This is where Archer has to broker peace between the Andorians and the
that is a
Tellarites.
good episode.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great one.
The top two I'm gonna give you at the same time. Because
So wait a minute, number 3 was
number 3 was Terra Prime.
Oh, Terra Prime. I'm sorry.
But number 2 and number 1 are part of a story arc that we've already talked about a little bit here. The Forge and Kirshara.
Does not
Kirshara was
surprise
number
me.
1.
Interesting.
Doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me either. I think that whole 3 episodes section
Very strong.
was just so strong, yeah, and gave us so much about. I think it was.
It gave us
see Archer in the best light.
Yeah, and it also gave us so much information on how the Vulcans were portrayed in the beginning of Enterprise, and then what we came to know of them in later series. It really established that evolution, because the Vulcans in the beginning were not the Vulcans that we knew in later series. And this episode, or these 2 episodes, really helped, bring about that transformation, allowed us to see what happened, what they went through.
So that was the top 10 of Enterprise. Let's talk the bottom 10.
Yes. Now,
yes.
Don't you find it interesting too that the top 10 all come from the quote post 9/11 storyline?
3rd and 4th season, yeah.
Well, I think at that point, the show had kind of they figured out what their identity was beyond just another Star Trek show, and they were like, season 3 was, okay, we have the 9/11 allegory, we're going to run with that, and we're going to see where that takes us in the world of Star Trek. And season 4, Manny Kondo comes on and says, okay, that was fun, but we should, we have nothing to lose, we might as well go full tilt original series, towards original series. And I think what's interesting is if Enterprise had, if season 1 of Enterprise started tomorrow, it would have been, they wouldn't have tried to shy away from the heritage as much as they did in the early seasons. I don't know, there's, Enterprise is kind of schizophrenic, I think, in terms of, origin and how it was marketed and everything. It was like, we're not going to call it Star Trek, and and then we're gonna have do other things, but in the end, it still is a Star Trek show. It takes a second of watching it to recognize the lighting and the music and everything about how the show was actually made. It feels very comfortable if you watch Star Trek in the 90s. So I don't know.
Well, going through the list, we'll start with we'll work our way towards the worst episode as voted by everybody. But the number 10 is Regine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is a season 3, episode
so low,
4.
actually.
What's that?
6A Spy.
Yeah. Number 9, Vanishing Point. This is from second season.
The transporter, where she thinks she's got transporter psychosis.
I like that episode.
She thinks she's invisible.
Yeah. I like that episode. I really did.
I think it's an anxiety that makes some sense.
Yeah. Maybe people were turned off by the ending.
The fact that none of it actually happened, and it was all in a blink of an eye, so to speak. Yeah, that ending kind of ruined it. It was interesting up till then.
Number 8 is Acquisition, season 1.
The Ferengi.
How can anything be so low when Clint Howard is in it?
Well, I don't know what to tell you there.
That episode sucked.
Sorry, Clint.
The next one will probably get some heated discussion here. A Night in Sickbay.
That was a horrible. It should have been the worst episode.
Is that the one with the dog?
The dog and the sexual tension between and
him chasing the thing around with the net.
And Phlox is trying to psychoanalyze
clipping his toenails.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's kind of The next one, Rogue Planet.
Hunting.
Just nothing memorable about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was about.
The planet is a rogue planet, and people are hunting on it.
Yeah, it had that sentient species, that slug-like creature that projected images
It shapeshifted, sort of, kind of, maybe.
It was more like a projection or something, but yeah, it plucked the memory out of Archer's head of a person that he had imagined. So it's not even a real person. And kind of sort of used that to gain his compassion and his assistance.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which could be kind of evil.
Number 5, Terra Nova. I think this is where I got confused on the last one because of the Terra Prime.
Isn't Terra Nova the one with the Western?
No. Terra Nova is the Lost Colony.
Oh, the Lost Colony, which wound up in Star Trek Online.
Yep.
Yeah.
The thing that I was always taken back on this one was as soon as they land on the planet, he lets the Beagle go and take a crap.
Yeah, you would too.
Yeah.
Got a point there.
We're on a new planet. We've never been here. Let's just shit all over it.
Yeah, let's release some unknown bacteria.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Number 4, Oasis. This is, again, first season.
It's the one.
Oh, is that the one where they beam up?
The terrorist camp in the desert.
No, it's the one with the gas from the storm, right?
Hang on, let me find
it. They go camping, and the dude beams up, and he's got the rocks and the straw.
No, that's another one. Wait a minute.
And then where they take shelter in the nacelle housing.
Okay.
No, that's
okay.
That's Catwalk.
Okay. That's Catwalk. The and the one where the guy beams up and he's got the stuff on him. That's oh god, it's got something to do with world. A whole new world. It's not Brave New World, but it's like the word world is in there. Oasis. The crew finds a derelict spaceship from which they can salvage some supplies, only they find that the ship is not quite as deserted as they were led to believe.
Oh, the hologrammed crew.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a spooky ghost story.
Oh,
because
okay.
The crewman is actually in escape pod, dead, long dead, and one survivor or a couple
didn't
survivors.
even remember it.
Okay. Oh.
And you're a happier person for that.
Number 3, Extinction.
I kind of liked them. That was a weird one.
This is kind of tropey, I think, in Star Trek. If they get a virus, they mutate in some other life form, and I mean, haven't we seen that in just about every version of Star Trek? It's probably because I haven't really seen a ton of a lot of other the other series. So to me, it was sort of semi-fresh. But what I would have liked would have been to have seen a little consequence to that. And in fact, I've written fanfic on this where Archer is still pissed off because he's still getting over the Loquaque virus, and is still sick to his stomach, or he's still kind of feeling weird. There should have been a consequence to that, and it wasn't. It was a reset.
In one of the Rise of the Federation novels, they actually kind of the Rom. I think it's one of the groups that are kind of sort of working with the Orion Syndicate. They actually weaponize that. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's a way to use it, certainly. It makes more sense that way.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2, worst episode, as voted on, Precious Cargo.
Yes.
Oh, God, I hated it.
Trip with that one, with the Creosan monarch.
The only redeeming feature was her.
This is why I write fanfic where in an alternate timeline she gets beheaded.
All right. Well, number 1 worst Enterprise episode. What do you think it is?
The one that I don't think is so bad.
Gee, I wonder what it is.
Anybody?
These are the Voyages.
Oh my god. Hello?
These are the Voyages. ...
ITV.
Yeah, I would not say it's the worst episode though, as much as I hate it.
Well, I think as everyone's always alluded to, it's a TNG episode.
Yeah, it's not an
TNG episode. Yeah.
So that's awesome. Now, Mike, before we reset the recordings and everything, do we have a top of the hour rundown?
Yes. This hour we had not 1, not 2, but 3 donations.
Nice.
So we need to figure out, and 2 of them are for the same amount. So we need to figure out how we're going to do this.
Battle to the death.
Battle to the death. We heard it here first. Let's see. Big shout outs to Allison, Janice and William Smith. Alton and William. Oh, wait a minute.
Uh-oh.
Somebody's increased their donation.
That's a good war.
Yeah. William actually increased his donation to $25. So
thank you, William.
So he's our big donor for this hour. Congratulations.
So he wins both things, right?
If that's the way we want to go, yes.
That's the way we're doing it. So this hour, so the bigger donor for the hour, the bigger donor, you know what I'm talking about. What the hell?
8 hours into the show.
Yeah, really. I just poured myself another drink.
We're a third of the way there.
It's the autobiography of James T. Kirk, along with the Bye Bye Robot poster, correct?
The LLAP.
Yes.
LLAP poster, which is beautiful.
Correct.
Really awesome. Thank you
really
so much.
beautiful.
Bye bye Robot.
Yay! Congratulations, William. Hey, are you okay with that?
Where's our total at?
Our total is at drumroll.
Steve, wake.
Wake up, Steve.
The poor thing never sleeps anyway.
We have a drum roll. Okay.
Steve.
Alan. Sorry. Oh, that's not Alan. That's Steve. Steve.
Okay, our total is $599.43.
Nice.
Still laughing about the 43. Where the fuck did that come from?
Because of the
conversion rate?
The conversion rate from
that's hilarious.
The euros.
Yeah, going from British pounds to
from sterling
dollars.
to dollar. Love it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So we're making progress. Thank you, everyone.
So we're a third of the way. Well, no, we're a quarter of the way there. A third of the way through the show.
Pretty much. Yeah, a third of the way. Do you realize we have 2/3 left, dude?
Shut up. So let's take this moment to have some music. Take our bio breaks, and then we'll come back with a very special guest, one of my very favorite people.
And Thomas, you better stick around.
Oh no. I was about to say I have to go.
You have to go? Okay, fine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining
and
us,
Thomas, if you're still around after, come back in after.
Okay.
We're gonna be here all night.
All right.
And we love your designs. Thank you so much.
Love you. Thank you.
See you.
All right. Well, have fun, guys. Good luck.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Music for the GNT show is provided by 5 Year Mission, Enterprise Blues Band, Warp 11, Andrew Allen, and Grethor. The GNT show is a BLB production.
Move ahead, walk back to 10. Put a mini skirt on my man. Represent the human race. And we make space a happy place. To boldly go where no man's gone before. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G community. zero G.